Hey folks, Jim Thomas here, Fitness Management and Consulting, and welcome to the channel today. I appreciate y'all being here. And to our subscribers, welcome back. It's good to have you. And if this is your first time here, if you're just finding the channel, welcome. Please hit that subscribe button. Please hit that like button as well. And to learn more about me and my company and how we can help take your business to that next level, please check out the links below. Now, our topic for you today are: what are the biggest mistakes made by new gym owners? What are the biggest mistakes made by new gym owners? And this could be a new startup. It could be a club that you acquire. For that matter, it could be if you've been shuttered for a while, you're just now getting back open. It could be that. Or you might find some of these have been kind of dogging you for a while and you still have them. So I want to talk about some of these mistakes. How can we address it and what we can do to help take your business to that next level. So number one is not starting out with enough capital. Being underfunded is not good because you're going to choke this thing off. And one of the things I like to look at when you first get started is whatever a 1 month operating is. Say it costs you $50,000 a month to run your business. I like to see you have at least that in the bank. Minimum 1 month. You might even have as much as 3 months. Okay, and I say that based on some things we saw, coming out of 2020 and some of the things that happened there. But minimum 1 month. Don't go into it lean. Don't go into it where you're paying bills with credit cards and you're paying credit cards with other credit cards. Make sure you have enough capital. And one of the great rules here is always be looking for funding. Always, no matter what. Okay. With that said, I would even suggest check out our funding link below. You can click that where you can potentially qualify for up to $250,000 in funding, with no collateral. Okay, so not starting off with enough capital is one of the bigger mistakes we see in new startups. Number two is thinking that success will come quickly. Hope it does, might, okay, but don't plan on that because there's going to be roadblocks, there's going to be setbacks. I was telling someone the other day when I opened my first club, okay, and it was pre-sales, and the club is nothing more than a pile of dirt across the street. And we're getting this thing open. Of course, we're trying to balance getting everything to happen at the same time. And so we didn't have any power. Power wasn't going to be on. Our phones were in, but as we learned that when you don't have power, you can't hear the phone ring. And so we had to listen real carefully. The phone, it sounded like a little cricket in there. And when we heard that noise, we knew the phone was ringing. Okay? And so we're going to be open. It's bright out, so we're fine there. We'll just keep going until it gets too dark. And then number two, we were running newspaper ads at the time, and we had an ad agency that was doing all that for us. And I was all excited. We get the newspaper. I open it up. There's a big ad. It looks fantastic. And they used everything that was in the ad slick, which was kind of pre us getting our phone number, and it said 0000000. So we had an ad with no phone number, and we had no ring on our phones, and we're open, okay? And oh boy, is success going to come quickly. Well, we ended up getting like 75 phone inquiries that day. We ended up selling 20 memberships or whatever. It was a rip-roaring good time, okay? And so, thinking that success will come quickly, sometimes, we had good success right there in that moment. It didn't start out that way, okay? So don't just assume success is going to come quickly. Make sure on your business plan where we're talking about roadblocks and setbacks, what are the plans, that we can institute immediately if things happen like that, okay? Number three, not carefully budgeting. Okay. Now, one of the things that I see with new operations particularly is normally on the expense side we're not too bad, but many times on revenue, more often than not, I bet you of the business plans that I review, that revenue is double what it's going to be. Okay, we look at it from rose-colored glasses. We're entrepreneurs, okay? And one of the best things you can do when you're putting together that budget, do it from a banker's standpoint. Do it from a banker. Do it from a very conservative standpoint. You can still run your business like that entrepreneur does and set your sights big. But when you're budgeting, do it like your banker would. Be a little more conservative. Next is not focusing on the quality of your product or service. And what I mean by that is, where I go on that is differentiation. What are you doing that's different than everybody else in your marketplace? What are you bringing to the marketplace that nobody else is doing? What are you doing that's so much better? And you have to be able to quantify it. You just can't say it. You just can't say it. You have to do it. You have to show it. Okay? And I'll give you an example. Is in 2020, with clubs, we had clubs that broke sales records throughout 2020. And one of the first things that we wanted to focus on was, focusing on quality. Okay, and the quality we looked at initially is we wanted to sell certainty. We wanted to sell certainty to the public, certainty to our members, certainty to our staff. And two of the things that we did that worked extremely well, and it was true differentiation, nobody else was doing it in the towns that we were operating in, is number one, we created an advisory board. And the advisory board was doctor-led. Okay? And we were able to truthfully market, and truthfully tell people we have a doctor-led advisory board that's guiding us on the proper principles to keep our club healthy and safe. Okay? And number two, we made a commitment. Whatever our governing body was, we work with clubs that are all over the globe, so a lot of different situations. But whatever that governing body is, whatever they are requiring, our commitment is we're going to do more. Because one of the big mistakes that so many clubs made during that time, I'm not doing that, we're not doing this. We made a commitment to do more. Because what are we trying to do? We're focusing on the quality here. We're focusing on differentiation. We're selling certainty. I want our customers to be certain they're safe, and we're looking out for their best interest. Okay, so look at differentiation. Look at what can we bring to the marketplace that nobody else is bringing. The next one is something I see virtually all the time. Okay, most every club we get involved with that is not performing up to their level of potential is they have underestimated the importance of sales and marketing. And I see it frequently is really the inability to properly implement sales and marketing. Okay, and you have to know it. You have to marketing. We need everybody to know who we are in our marketplace. We've got to drive people in. It's one of the number one jobs of owners, to make sure we're driving traffic into the gyms. And then from a selling standpoint, we have to have a process in place that allows us to disposition these folks to get them signed up. I see this one frequently because so many folks in the fitness industry, particularly independents, they don't necessarily come from that sales and marketing background. They come maybe from a service background as a trainer or something like that, and it can be a challenge. And so the importance of sales and marketing. Next on my list of biggest mistakes is not adapting quickly enough. Okay, not adapting quickly enough. Things are going to happen. Go back to 2020, man. Things were happening fast. We had to move quick. Man, I had folks ready to shut down. Okay, and we're saying, no. We're just going to have to train your customers in a different manner. We're still going to collect dues. We're still going to do all this. We're going to communicate it. But we have to adapt and act quickly. Okay, and this is one of the key things when you're starting this business. It's one of the bigger challenges. Next on my list is not understanding the competitive landscape. Okay, not understanding the competitive landscape. Your competition, it's all that brick and mortar that's out there. It's plenty of apps. It's a lot of videos. Could even be podcasts. Okay, there's a lot of things out there. It could be the local park and recs where people can run and do a park course. Okay, understand the competitive landscape, and going back to what I was talking about earlier, what are you doing that nobody else is doing? What are you doing that's so different? What are you doing that's so much better? How are you marketing to an uncontested market space? Okay, but make sure you understand the competitive landscape and how do you fit in there. You can't just say, oh yeah, there's no competition here. Well, tell me why. Show me why. Differentiation. What are you doing? You can't say, hey, we're the cleanest, we're the friendliest. Everyone's saying that. How do you quantify what makes you so different? Next on my list is ignoring legal and contract matters. And I'll talk about this just in terms of your membership agreement. Make sure your membership agreement is buttoned up. Get with your billing company. Let's see what they can provide for you. Make sure your attorney reviews it to make sure all the language is proper. Make sure it's right. Okay? Make sure you're doing the right thing. Next on my list is hiring the wrong employees. One of the big mistakes we make is we hire people when we need them. Okay, whenever you hire people when you need them, it's been my experience, is that all we're doing is filling a slot. Okay, and what I suggest you do is you want to have a regular plan of action for recruiting and talking to people every day, just like you do for new members. Okay, and what we're looking to do here is we want to have a quick process. I'll give you a quick process here, is have folks, when they send over their information, send over a 30-second video on why they're the best person for the job. If they pass that, if that works, send over a sales philosophy test. Let's see, are they too weak, too strong? How do they fit within your culture? And if you don't have a sales philosophy test, if you want one, email me. Email address is below, jthomas@fmconsulting.net. Happy to send you one, no cost, no charge, no obligation. Have other people interview them in your company. Okay? And in the interview process, role play with them, their current job. And that'll help you hire the right folks, but then take 2, 3, 4 days and train them before you put them in the facility. Don't put them in there and let them fly by the seat of their pants, because salespeople, if their confidence drops, if they're not making sales, the self-esteem starts to suffer. They lose sight of their goals, and we kind of have a problem on our hands here. So really get a strategy in place on how we want to hire and how we want to train folks, getting them in. And then finally, mispricing. We don't price our memberships right. We don't price our training right. Okay? And the best advice I can give you on this, if you're new at this, is do it in reverse. When you're doing your budget, hey, here's what our expenses are going to be. Okay? Now, how much do you want to make? 20% margin, 30% margin, 40% margin, whatever it is. And then now let's go back up top. So based on those margins that we want, how does this need to look? If we're a smaller place, we can't do big volume, we're going to have to do higher prices. And so let's make sure we're looking at it. Too many gyms, they base their pricing on what the competition's doing. Okay? Do it on what works for your pro forma. Okay? And then make sure we're providing value and solving problems for folks. All right. So, folks, my name is Jim Thomas. My company is Fitness Management and Consulting. I appreciate you being here. To learn more about me, please check out the links below, and we'll look forward to seeing you all in that next video.